Hi, Dr. Paul Haider here. I find it really interesting, as I wrote about in my blog, that when a child is developing in the womb and when he's born for quite a long time, he's developing 1,000 new neural connections every second. Is that amazing or what? And that as he is developing, it's not food or water or anything else that really strengthens those connections. It's really love. And this is scientific studies showing this, that love is the main thing that strengthens those connections in the brain. And also, the more words we use around a child, the more love we have around a child, and it's powerful because the brain starts picking up these words even when they're really tiny babies. And also, there's other amazing things. Is it the brain, or is it this etheric field of love which is all around us? I take a couple who adopted a child, and that child, came from a whole different family, whole different genetics and everything. But the mother, when she was a baby, she would go around and she would grab hold of everything that was cloth and just kind of feel it there for a while. And the father had this thing when he was a little tiny kid of pull, touching his ear all the time. And lo and behold, that adopted little girl, she would go around and feel all the cloth all around, even though she didn't know a thing about that, her mother doing that. And she also had this thing about touching her ear all the time, and feeling her ear. And you could say, well, that's just coincidence, but I don't think so. And there was another couple that they adopted a little boy. And the little boy had picked up on some very interesting things also, because the mother had a doll that she would carry around when she was very tiny. And she would carry that thing around with her everywhere. And so did the little boy. He had a little stuffed animal that he carried around with him all the time. And then the father had a blankie, a little tiny blanket that he carried around with him. And this little boy also carried around a little blanket. There is this field of love, this energetic interplay that's going on around us all the time, and no matter what we do or how we say it or how we interact, that field of love is connecting us to everything, and it's really pretty powerful. I think it's probably the most important thing that we can think about in general. All the great avatars came and said, we are all one. And when we think about this one field which is surrounding everything, and we're all interconnected in that field, we are all one. We are not separate in any way, shape, or form. And so when we start to think loving kindness in the world and allow ourselves to find that great peace inside, we actually affect everybody else. Look at Buddha, look at Divine Mother Amma, all the different greats, Sai Baba, Ramana Maharishi, Christ, all of them had this effect upon everybody because that field of love was picking up on their vibe and it was floating out to everybody. And so it is that everything that ever has been, is now, or will be, is in that field. People like Edgar Cayce were able to access the Akashic record and actually go into this, what they would call a library, and be able to look things up and find out answers to the possibilities of everything. And I know other people who have that great ability also. And so that field knows everything. It's all-knowing. It's omnipresent, everywhere. You know, if you think about entangled matter, everything is connected here and 10 billion miles away. You take cells and two cells that are connected, and a piece of skin, take it apart, put one in a petri dish here, one in a petri dish there, or 10,000 miles away, give this one electric shock, the other one over here actually moves, or you can pick up the electrical stimulation at the same time. It's all in the same field. It's all that oneness. And if we meditate on love, we meditate on peace, we meditate on contentment, we meditate on bliss, and the more we tell ourselves that we are part of that, the more we start melting all this together to become one cohesive unit. Three really important things. And there was a study done with prisoners, and they just started giving them subliminal messages in music that would say, I forgive others, I forgive myself, and I am forgiven. And before they were blaming everybody in society about all their problems, and after that, there was a huge change. It was an amazing change. And then this is really what we need to bolster our self-esteem, because they probably never heard, I forgive you. And they never ever said, I forgive you. Then what did some of the great avatars and saints and great ones, gurus that ever came, what did they say? I forgive you. Yeah. I forgive you. They said, I forgive you. And they also said, love thy neighbor as thyself. And I think that's really, really powerful. For if we all started to love one another, there would be nothing that we couldn't change in this world. Because everything would change automatically. There'd be no more wars. We would forgive everyone. Forget and move on. And thus, the great change would happen in the society of the world, the society of the planet. And thus we would become uplifted and become enlightenment, would be infiltrating all around the planet, and wow, what a great day that would be. I love you.